Hey guys, this is Woodworker Royer, and I'm back with another video. It's been a while, but today I'm going to be going over the different methods of, I guess, tool organization for maintenance people. Now, this is a very off-the-cuff video, like most of mine are. But basically, the categories that I have seen for tool storage would be tool belts, tool bags, and toolboxes / tool carts. Now, tool belts is unique in that situation because they are on you theoretically the entire time that you're working. So you've got your tool belt. It's got all your tools that you need for, whatever job that you're doing, probably for several jobs. And you just wear the tool belt, you go to this, that, or the other call, and you have everything you need there. Or, your 90% stuff where you can do 9 out of 10 things, and then you go and you get the cart or whatever else for that 10% of stuff that you need that for. So I have used all of these methods that I'm gonna lay out, but that is the specific one that is unique in that those tools are literally attached to your body during the job. Now, positive, obviously you don't have to go and run around and work, trying to find what tool you need during the job. It's all right there. You just, you're going to get muscle memory as to where it is and be able to just pick that out of wherever it is on your tool belt in the tool pouches and be done with it. The other thing is if you go up on a ladder or something like that, your tools go with you. The downside to that is if you are going into small spaces or going to be like laying on your back under a sink or something like that, then those tool belts start to get in the way because you're going to be catching on things, especially going up in like an attic or something like that. And the same thing with if you're working under a sink or something like that, you are going to be, laying on this tool belt or tools while you're doing that job. So it can be a detriment. The other thing is you're having to carry the weight of all those tools all at once, no matter what job you're doing. So that can get pretty tiring, and especially if you don't have a high quality tool belt, that can get really bad. So your advantage is you've got all your tools that you need. The disadvantage is that you have weight and space of those tools taking up, to contend with. Oh, and then there's the other limitation, which is you have to fit those tools into that bag or into the tool pouches, and you've got a very limited amount of space in those tool pouches. Now, moving on to the next option, I guess. As far as how much stuff you can carry, I guess I'll go from least to greatest quantity. So with a bag, you have anything from a cheap Harbor Freight bag like this one. This is like $5 or $6. I think it's a 12-inch. Something like that. But anyway, zip bag like this. Not really any storage space inside. There's a couple little pouches that are practically useless in every way. As a matter of fact, these ones on the outside are actually a lot more useful than the ones on the inside because the ones on the inside took after the Milwaukee style bags and they're just floppy and short. So they're completely useless. These are not quite as bad as the Milwaukee ones. This one is pretty much as bad as the Milwaukee one. You could probably fit a wallet in there and have it not fall out all the time, but other than that, good luck. maybe some screws. I wouldn't put screws in this, but anyway. So with this, you've got, especially, I mean, obviously there's different sizes and styles of all these things. What I went to with the tool belt was electrician's pouches. It's got all the screwdriver holes, all the plier holes. Organization on those is crazy dense. You can fit all kinds of stuff into those bags versus, you know, maybe a nail pouch or a carpenter's style pouch where you've got minimal organization, and it's for specific tools. Like you're going to have a hammer holster and a tape measure holder and a couple places for pens and maybe a place for a speed square. You're going to have a couple places for that stuff, and then everything else is going to be for nails. Obviously, a nail pouch, it's just a big pouch for nails. That's it. Or screws, whatever fastener that you're using. There's no organization in a nail pouch. Carpenter pouch, you've got a little bit of organization. Electrical pouch or electrician's pouch is expensive, but you have all the organization. The same thing is true of bags. You can go anywhere from this style, which actually has, for what it is, actually has quite a bit of organization. It's got pouches and little holders all over the inside of it, and a couple on the outside here. Two ones that don't have anything in them. I've got a couple DeWalt bags for power tools and stuff that I got that are completely barren. They have nothing for organization built in. And then I've had some Husky bags, and I think Milwaukee made a couple, or I used a couple Milwaukee ones where they had a little bit more organization than this. I will say Husky, as far as I've seen, Husky is the best for the organization style and what they offer in bags. If you want a bag, I would go with a Husky. Unless you're wanting something like super professional grade and way more expensive, then you're going to look at like the Vito bags, and they've got a billion different ones. They're, from everything I've heard, they're good bags, but they're expensive. And that's not really a consideration if you look at, you know, what else I'm going to be showing you. But, you know, for different people's budgets, that's, you know, is it worth it to get a bag? I didn't really think it was. Looking back on it, it probably would have saved me some money too. But I don't know if I would have actually gone any different than that anyway. So, yeah, it's up to you whether or not you think that that's worth it. But a bag, the advantage to that is it's not on your person. The disadvantage is you're carrying whatever you carry in that one hand. There's no other point of contact. Maybe you get a strap with the thing. They do have backpack versions of it. But honestly, who carries a backpack around at a hotel? Like, that's kind of weird. You're going to look more like a random guest that's just weird than your normal maintenance person. So anyway, yeah, bags, the advantage, depending on the bag, they can be much cheaper. They can hold, I don't want to say they can hold, yeah, they can hold more stuff. They can hold more stuff because you can get a bigger bag. You're going to be able to get more cubic inches out of something like this than you would out of a normal tool bag on your belt. So more space, but all of that weight, whatever you carry, is going to be on your hand while you're carrying it. And you have to then have some place to put it down, and then you have to go and find it, you know, wherever you put it, unless you put it right beside, you know, if it's something small enough like this, you could put it right beside you and, you know, just get your tools right out of that. You don't have to have a tool belt. But you get the same basic advantage just without having to have it attached to your person. So that's what I would say about that. I didn't like the tool bag just because it was pretty limiting for me. I'm the type of person that, you know, oh, I might need that tool one time in, you know, a year, and then I put it in the bag, and then it just turns into Milwaukee pack out. And that is my transition into boxes. Now, when I say a toolbox, I don't mean a hard version of a tool bag. I mean a rolling toolbox. Think T-Stack, Milwaukee pack out, DeWalt Tough Case, whatever the Flex thing is called, whatever the other ones are. So with that, you get hard sides, so your tools are better protected than a bag. They're not going to fall out, and this is the other thing with a tool belt that is an extreme con, in my opinion, is storage. When you take that off, it turns from a part of your body into a limp spaghetti noodle that's going to tangle and drop every tool out of it if you pick it up the wrong way. If you set it down consciously the correct way every time, they don't fall out. If you kick it, or you don't think about it, or whatever, or it falls off, then everything that's in that can fall out, and it is not fun to put it back together. There are ways to mitigate that. If you get like a leather pouches and that kind of thing, they hold the tools a little bit better. Still not as good as having them contained, and you don't have to worry about it. So what I actually did with mine, when I got it, it came with a cheap fabric bag, basically a black plastic bag, just made out of polyester fabric. And I would just put the whole thing with the pouches and tools and everything right into that bag, drawstring it up, and then carry it around. Well, that bag lasted me maybe a month before it was shredded and stuff was able to fall out of it, which meant it was completely useless. At that point, I switched over to something better. Boxes. In fact, not even boxes. I went to bags, and then rolling bags, and then boxes. Now, back to boxes. So that is another advantage to bags and boxes, is obviously they aren't open usually, so your tools are more secure. And, you know, somebody might look at this and just be like, what kind of weird luggage is that, and not walk off with it, as opposed to your, you know, I don't know, an open bag or something like that. Oh, tools, and walk off with it or something. So honestly, if somebody's going to walk off with it, you're probably out of luck anyway. But anyway, that's beside the point. So, not talking about maintenance man security. So, boxes. I love the pack out system. As much as I love the pack out system, I don't think it's worth as much as it costs. I won't go into detail about how much this cost, but it wasn't cheap. And for tool storage, spoiler alert, this set, not this box, two other boxes, like this box, the rolling box, and the large toolbox, I believe, cost me more than this did. It also cost me more than that one did. So, yeah, not cheap. The difference between those is this has absolutely no organization from the factory. The only thing it comes with from the factory is an empty box with this in it. That's it. That's your organization. Now, what I went and did is I decided it was very frustrating to not have any organization in here. So I watched a bunch of videos on how to organize this, found the one or two that actually went into any detail of how they managed to do this feat, and discovered that this is the method. You hot glue, or you glue rather, PVC pipes together, and then you put them in the thing. I absolutely hate that method, and everything I've done in this box for organization has literally fallen apart. It's hateful. These PVC pipes, I don't know what I did wrong. Let's see if I can. Okay, maybe that one worked. The original ones that I put together, they all worked. Past this point, I started using Arrow hot glue, because I used hot glue for all this. Started using Arrow brand hot glue. Now, if you know staple guns, you know Arrow, because they're the ones that make them. They don't make good hot glue. I don't think they make good staples or good staple guns, but they definitely don't make good hot glue as far as putting PVC pipes together. It is incredibly brittle and it falls apart constantly. And there are chunks of, in fact, you can see some back here, all that white dust. That's not something else. That is hot glue that fractured and fell apart and is collected in the corner of the box. It's all Aero brand. So I have no love lost on Aero brand anything, frankly, but their hot glue for sure is junk. At least for putting PVC pipe together. So if you're gonna do this, try some different hot glues. Wait till, put them on there. Wait till they dry. See if you can do something else. Oh, I will also say their hot glue is even bad for wood. I don't even know what it's useful for. Maybe paper, because the paper is going to rip before the hot glue does. I don't know. I haven't used it on paper, so maybe it fails before the paper does even, but it's junk. Anyway, so your tool bags, your tool belt, I should say, comes with pouches, or you can get pouches for it that have organization. You can get ones that don't, but generally even the cheapo set, kit, whatever that you get with a tool belt, have some sort of organization built in. Bags range anything from a lot of organization to minimal to zero organization. Toolboxes don't have any at all. You might get a tool tray. I don't like the tool tray just because it does this. It collects stuff, and then I have to go fishing under here or move it over, and it's just a pain. If I had to do it over again, I'd take the tool tray out and be done with it. This is the extra large box. I added a little shelf out here that I can clip and put half-size boxes on the side of. Really love that feature. That's one of the things I love about the pack-out system. Any of the other systems, you could probably add the same thing. It'd just be a little bit different. You'd have to find who makes the aftermarket parts for it, or get creative about it. The problem with this system, this type of system, I'm not saying Milwaukee specifically, all of them are this way. The problem with the system is there's no organization from the factory, and in most cases there's no factory option for any of your organization, so you're going to have to go completely DIY or aftermarket, which gets even more expensive because, believe me, the aftermarket crowd is not selling you anything cheap. Anything cheap. They charge you for battery, holders and stuff that are, probably 20 cents worth of plastic, and they charge you like $6 or $10, which, obviously they have to make money. So I'm not really upset with them about it, but it gets really expensive when you're looking at, over $100 for a toolbox, and then, another $100 worth of accessories just to divide the box up a little bit so that you can get a little bit more organized. It's not even this level of organization. So, and then it's very time consuming if you do a DIY approach, because you have to measure it, you have to make sure how many fit in there, all that kind of thing. It's not the end of the world, but it's also not easy to do. So I will say in this, you get the most amount of space. Obviously you can get a thin one that you can just carry, something maybe similar in size to this. This is two of these organizers, but you can get something small like that, or you can get something really big like this. This is, I think, 16 or 18 inches tall, probably 16 inches of actual space, and that clips onto a rolling cart, which clips onto everything else. So this is a really good system. Everything clips together, as I said. I really like the system. It's just that it's very expensive. You don't really get any organization. You don't get any organization with it when you start out. And to get to that point of a well-oiled machine and everything, you really have to plan what you're going to put in there, figure out how it fits in there, and go with that. As it is with mine, this is exactly what it looks like when I'm using it. It's just random stuff you know, normally there will be screwdrivers and stuff. I've moved out of this box, but normally there will be screwdrivers, pliers, all that kind of thing over here. And then everything else is just kind of thrown on the side. That's what really got me away from that. I've since moved to a thinner, that's the large box of the Milwaukee, and it's just everything's thrown in there because like I have to dig around for stuff anyway. I don't need as much stuff as I actually carry, and I may as well just have it that way. But anyway, that's my summary. The woodworker right